Good evening, everybody. This is Scott Morganroth of the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network, and we are here on the Sports Exchange. I'm with my co-host, Louis Adio Weiss, and leading off is Ryan Skolrud. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's going on?
Doing good. Ready for another weekend?
Yeah, I can't wait. So it's interesting to see what's going on this week. We've had some interesting names pop up on the injury report. Yesterday, David Montgomery, the running back for the Chicago Bears, popped up on the injury report saying that he was a limited participant practice. Today, he was listed as did not practice. So this is definitely something to watch for this weekend. While it's not the greatest matchup for David Montgomery going up against the Rams, it is somewhat favorable. That being said, the fact that he didn't practice today, we don't know if they're just limiting him overall to keep him fresh, or if there actually is a decent enough issue where it could be a Tariq Cohen game this week. So definitely something to watch. I know that Tariq Cohen has become very widely available in leagues after being so heavily used last season. They have really scaled back on his use this year, and so I think that, fantasy-wise, it could be an interesting late pickup. If it turns out that Montgomery's not available to go, Cohen could be an interesting late pickup for this week. So,
okay. Now you say the Redskins want to move McLaren around in the formations.
So this was definitely interesting to me. For the most part, he's been playing outside. He's about the only, usable wide receiver for the most part for the Redskins. And I think that they're just trying to figure out more ways to be able to utilize his talents, his speed. He does have decent size. I want to say he's about 6 foot, about 210. And so he has some size to run as a receiver. And so I think that what they're going to start doing is they're probably going to start moving him, not only having him play outside, but moving him into the slot, maybe even trying to use him in somewhat like the way the Seahawks have been known to use Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, plays a lot in the slot. They do move him outside every once in a while, so it could be that they're just looking for new ways to get McLaurin open. He's really struggled over the last 5-6 weeks after opening the season with a touchdown. I want to say in each of his first 3 or 4 games. He's really cooled off as of late. Part of that's just been some of the uncertainty at the quarterback position. I think this is good for McLaurin. I'd have a difficult time actively using him as a starter unless I was completely strapped to the wide receiver position on my roster.
All right, I got a question for you, okay?
Okay.
This will affect fantasy football probably about 5 years. Tom Brady now thinks he can play until he's 46 or 47, says his trainer, and he's 42 years old. What's your take on that?
We'll see. I think it's possible. Honestly, with the way that the Patriots, for the most part, set up their offense, he's never asked to be a deep ball type of thrower.
Right.
The offenses, the last few years, he was that when he had Randy Moss. But the last few years, it's been a lot of short passes, get the ball out quick. That's the way that they have run their offense. They, in essence, almost haven't even needed a run game because that's what their pass game was. It was, short crosses and slants over the middle to Edelman. Some out routes, swing passes and wheel routes to James White out of the backfield, and then every once in a while run Sonny Michel. As long as that is the formula they're going to use, and can keep an offensive line together enough to give Brady even just 4 to 5 seconds of protection. That's all they need with how that offense was designed. So yeah, Brady could play until he's 47 at that rate.
Yeah, Ryan, when I think about the Patriots, I mean, I spoke about the narrative developing early on when they started, 8-0, that this could go down as one of the greatest teams of all time. But then when I look at their run game and the way that they played against the Ravens and just, I think we're going on now, it's almost 25-game sample size where Sony Michel, their first-round pick from 2018, has just been uber unimpressive. I believe both seasons he's averaging under 4 yards a carry. I mean, what do you, from a fantasy perspective, and just watching him, what do you really see that, kind of has been a cause for concern early on in his career?
Well, with Sonny Michel, he has dealt with some knee injuries. He missed a little bit at the beginning of the season last year, which was part of the reason why James White was a top 10 running back in PPR last year, was because of how much opportunity he was getting, not just catch the ball, but just as a runner out of the backfield. So Michel has had to deal with some knee soreness and injury over the last couple of years, even dating back to when he was in Georgia. As of right now, he was very good towards the end of the season last year and getting into the playoffs. He was used heavily, especially in cold weather games. I think that's more what's going to be happening going on in the second half of this season. But if you look, just looking at the overall schedule that the Patriots have had, they've had one of the easiest schedules of anyone, just because everyone they've played, the only real tests that offense or defense has had to deal with so far this year were the Ravens, who beat them, and Buffalo, the Bills in Buffalo in I want to say like week 5 or 6. That's it. They've been playing, Miami, the Jets twice. So it's they've had a lot of teams that they've walked into just with bad records. Playing the Steelers, who are not very good in the very beginning of the season, and the Browns, who have been a major disappointment. So they've had a very easy, for the most part, a very easy schedule so far this going into the year. I think that as they move on, Michel will get more involved.
All right, we got about 7 minutes to go, so I want to touch on Emmanuel Sanders real quick, and then we'll talk about Kaepernick, okay? You say Emmanuel Sanders may still be able to play Sunday against Arizona?
So today, during practice for the 49ers, he was a quote-unquote limited participant. Really what he did is he showed up, went out for warm-ups and everything, and then instead of going actually on the practice field, went to the weight room. He's been dealing with a rib injury that he suffered in the Seahawks game on Monday night. But according to Kyle Shanahan, he has basically said that Sanders does not need to be a full participant in practice in order to be able to start this weekend. So I think that there's been enough trust and rapport developed between Sanders and Garoppolo, and Sanders is enough of a vet to be able to run the routes exactly how he needs to in order to be a productive receiver, even if he doesn't practice this week. So he'll come down to a game time decision, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. Right now, for me, it's a 50-50 coin flip as to whether he plays. If he plays, I wouldn't be surprised, and if he does, I still think he's a wide receiver too in terms of his potential production.
Well, he's a rejuvenated young man in San Francisco. We only got like 5 minutes to talk about this one. It should be easy, though. 11 teams have committed to attending Colin Kaepernick's workout so far. I've actually went ahead and got the 11 teams. The Arizona Cardinals, the Falcons, Cleveland Browns, Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, New York Giants, Tampa Bay Bucks, Washington Redskins. In the 3 or 4 minutes we have, of any of these 11 teams, who do you think would be the most likely possibility that they would decide to give Colin a shot?
Probably the Miami Dolphins. And the reason I say that is because they're probably looking at drafting a quarterback. I don't think that they will stick with the Ryan Fitzpatrick project. I think that they may go on a full-on youth movement. But I think that bringing someone in like Colin Kaepernick could be a good bridge to a rookie if they don't necessarily want to bring in a rookie. One more name to actually add to that's actually happened in the last hours. The Seahawks have also stated that they are going to be at that workout. Okay. Which for me, I think that Kaepernick would be a great a great backup to Russell Wilson because I think that he provides enough similarity to Russell Wilson's game to be able to fill in that role as a backup.
Okay. Yeah, I think they were once interested in him anyway, so that doesn't surprise me. All right, we got 2 minutes to go. Lewis, of all those teams, give me your best bet.
So, I don't know if did you list the Broncos as one of those teams that attended? Because, I mean, look, if Joe Flacco's injuries continue, that could be one thing. But the Redskins, I think, make a lot of sense for him because we don't know what we're going to get with Dwayne Haskins. And then Alex Smith, who I thought was on a very sneaky Hall of Fame track as far as compiling numbers is concerned. He hasn't played in almost 2 seasons.
Right.
So I think they'd be a good fit for him because I genuinely don't think Haskins will work out. He's, no touchdowns, 4 interceptions so far. He really hasn't looked good at the quarterback position. If Kaepernick wants to start, Washington would be the best bet, but it's a matter of whether or not they want to sign him.
If I were going to venture a guess, and it's only exactly that, I wouldn't rule out the Tampa Bay Bucs.
No, and yeah, I mean, with the way that Winston has played.
Exactly, that's my point.
I think that era's over there after this season.
Yeah, right, and you just said it after this season. I wouldn't rule out the Tampa Bay Bucs, but that would just be a guess for sure. The Miami Dolphins are intriguing, though, that group, so good stuff. So anything else you want to add, Ryan?
No, I think that's about it for this week.
All right, well, guess what? We'll do it again next week. Meanwhile, enjoy the games, and hope everybody can win a little something and learn a little something from Mr. Skullroot. So, all right, Ryan, you have yourself a great weekend, and we will do this bad boy again on Tuesday. Take care, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
You bet. Good night.
See ya. So I wanted to add onto your Seahawks point a little bit because
sure.
It's funny that actually be what was that, Super Bowl 47? That was 2013.
Right.
That'd be an interesting kind of game there. The only thing, or not Super Bowl 48. I'm sorry, but I think what we saw with Kaepernick those last 3 years, and I have the numbers memorized because I'm working on a piece that you'll find on the South Florida Tribune in the coming days on Kaepernick, is that those last 3 seasons, he was 11-24 as a starter. He drew 117 sacks. I think defenses woke up to this Wildcat offense that Harbaugh was running out there in San Francisco with him because obviously that's how Kaepernick made his name. We saw those playoff games.
Right.
With the way that Wilson has evolved, obviously Wilson is a miniature Aaron Rodgers, and I mean that size-wise because he possesses the ability to be an elite passer. He obviously can go downfield and he can, go up the middle pretty well with the play action. And, he can, dip and dunk with the screens. But I think Kaepernick, if he wants anybody to learn from at this point, you're not going to back up Aaron Rodgers. That's just not going to happen. That's Aaron Rodgers' team for the next couple of years. And like Wilson, both quarterbacks just got extensions. But I think Wilson has the best balance of pass and throw. On the other side of Patrick Mahomes, to be that Kaepernick can really kind of learn and see that the NFL trends more with quarterbacks who rely more on the passing game. Obviously, we see it with Breeze and Brady, and we saw it for a long time with Peyton Manning. But I think if you really want a balance of the two, and obviously Michael Vick faltered because of it later in his career, Seattle makes sense. But if he wants to start, Washington's another place, and Dan Snyder is no stranger to making those moves.
Right.
So,
good point.
It really wouldn't surprise me. But I kind of want to see him play again. I think it's a little delayed that the league is actually giving him his chance now after, 3 years in a collusion filing that he did at the end of 2019. So, we'll see what happens. I don't, personally, I'd be shell-shocked if he starts again. He's 32, and we know speed doesn't age well, regardless of what sport you play. So it'll be interesting to see, though. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, my thoughts are, he has to just go to a system which, the system's already in place. So you have a guy where you don't change a system to accommodate another guy. Mm-hmm. Now, is it one of those 12 teams? I don't know. I actually thought he would be a suitable backup for Russell Wilson. I'll give you that in Seattle, and Ryan would like that. So any of those 12 destinations I think could be pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the 5th. And you know why I'm going to take the 5th? I want to see what you got to say for the trip.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Yeah, no, I'm going to write that story. It should be out by Saturday. But, as far as Emmanuel Sanders goes, because Ryan briefly touched on that,
right.
If he's not healthy, and I know he's just a wide receiver on that roster, they're in trouble because obviously we've seen, and Winters talked about that before. He's a quarterback that's young. This is really Garoppolo's first real season full time as a quarterback because he tore his ACL early on last year after he got that extension to start the year. But you have Matt Bryba's out. He's not playing this weekend, and I understand they're 8-1. They're pretty much cruising right now. Nick Bosa's anchoring one of the best defenses in the league, probably the best defense in the NFC. But if given Garoppolo's struggles and the fact that you don't have your best running back there, and now one of your best receivers that you recently just acquired could possibly be out for an extended period of time, they're in trouble. Do I still think they're going to make the playoffs? Absolutely. I mean, it takes 9 to 10 wins, and they're 20% left to go before they get there. But